Hi, I'm Glenn Sheargold from SSI. This is Rob Sutton here from 5 Star Marketing. He's a journeyman plumber from the United States. And today we're going to take you through the components and the installation of the Caroma dual flush Walvit wall hung mechanism. This product is sold and supplied in kit form. Rob and I are going to take you through the major components that will be supplied as part of the kit. At the heart of it all is the D715 closet carrier. Next you have the water wafer in-wall tank and mounting brackets. Water supply hose is also supplied as part of the kit. Here we have the Walvit 90-degree uni connector with integral vent. Here we have the bowl fixing kit, which is made up of high tensile steel all thread, nuts and washers. The water inlet L retainer clip. The optional 45-degree vent elbow, and we'll show you where this can come in handy during the installation video. Included in your kit is the water inlet L and the key seal. And here's how the L will form to the tank. Here we have the Caroma dual flush Walvit elongated wall hung bowl. Here's the working end of the bowl, showing the incredible size of the outlet and your water supply inlet. Here we have the bowl to wall gasket and your bowl mounting kit. Here we have some flow restrictors. These will be used in a water wafer tank remote installation. Here's a couple of examples of what we would call a remote tank installation. Now Rob the plumber is going to show you how this all goes together.
Here we are with the Walvit D715 carrier bracket, and you'll notice that we've laid it out pretending that this is our floor plate of our wall toward the front finish face of that stud wall. Here's the Walvit D715 wall carrier shown sitting on top of a wood floor plate as in a typical residential situation. And as most common in commercial situations, it would be mounted directly to a concrete slab. Both these situations using the appropriate hardened bolt and securing system to mount them to either the concrete floor or the wood. Here I am installing the mud ring, which will hold and provide access beyond the buttons into the top of the tank. And this mounts with 4 screws into the inside walls of the D715 carrier. Great idea to do when you're at the rough-in stage and you've mounted this trim plate is to go ahead and fill these screw holes with beeswax, like from a bowl wax. That'll prevent any of the sheetrock, mud, etc. from getting in there and being a problem down the road when you're setting your trim. Next, we're going to show installing the tank mounting brackets. Now that we're ready to mount the tank, let's first install the water inlet L to the bottom of the tank. All it takes is a simple push and twist. Now we're ready to install the tank. I just pop it in a little bit of an angle, snaps right into place, simple as that. Now I'm cutting the 90-degree unit connector waste outlet to length so it fits above the floor. The extra length of the 90-degree unit connector allows you to mount the waste inlet at different distances depending on your waste connection behind the carrier. Now we're going to mount and secure the 90-degree unit connector at 8¼ inches to center off the finished floor. Really sliding the bracket down and tightening the nuts down from the top after we've already adjusted the lower bracket. Now we're going to go ahead and set our distance between our water inlet L and our waste inlet, which will be at 6¼ inches center to center. Let's show you how that's done. Okay, so our next phase is we've determined that we need to raise our cross piece and our water inlet L by 3/4 inch to make our optimum 6¼ center to center measurement.
So let's just mark off here, Rob, on the center bracket here how far we have to raise it. There we go.
And that's it. Now that we've determined our 3/4 inch that we need to raise our water inlet and marked it on our uprights, we're going to go ahead and loosen the 2 bolts that hold this upright in place. We simply raise the height of the struts by tightening on this adjusting bolt. Even though it's not required, where the installation allows it, you can use the integrated bracing plate to help support your Walvit unit connector from the back side. Remember, each closet requires its own vent for optimum performance. I'm going to give you option number 1 for venting this, which is a Caroma supplied swivel vent fitting. Drops right onto the top of our unit connector and fastens into plate with a swivel joint nut. This allows you to swivel it from side to side or out of any framing bay that you would have to perform your revent. The second option requires removing the slip joint nut from the vent outlet on the 90-degree unit connector. Venting option number 2, when option 1, the enclosed or supplied Caroma swivel elbow, won't be allowed by code, is to use a DWV 2-inch Street 45 with 2 transition bands. Drop this over the vent L, tighten it up, and it still allows you to vent up past the carrier, and you're out of the way of the inlet L. Now it's time to install our water inlet L fixing bracket. Our next point is to finish up our water connection by attaching our water supply inlet hose to the water inlet connection and then finishing with a connection to a 1/4 turn ball stop. Now to wrap up some final dimensions for finished wall measurements. Point number 1 is the length of the threaded stud on the bowl fixing kit, maximum 2 3/8, minimum 2 1/8 from the finished wall. Point number 2 is the water inlet L. From the finished wall, we want to trim that to a length of 1 inch. And lastly, on the waste outlet, We want to trim that from the finished wall to a length of 1.5 inches.
Here we have the components of the 227124 ST finishing kit. We have a water inlet L and key seal, the mud ring mounting plate for your finishing plate, the finishing plate itself, your pneumatically actuated dual flush buttons, and pneumatic hose. The height adjustable bracket allows you to set your bowl rim height at 17 inches for ADA applications.
And the button kit can be remotely mounted for ease of use for people with disabilities.